What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Hero or Zero here on the Heroes for Hire podcast. My name is Shaun Meehan, and joining me as always is my partner in crime, Mr. Ciara Lawler. Connor, how are you doing?
Shaun, I haven't seen you since last year.
I was going to do the joke.
Yes.
Listeners, I said, because I wanted him to give a funny reaction, I told him I was going to do that joke, and he stole it from me.
You can't tell me what joke you're going to do, because for comedy purposes I will steal it, just to see you scramble.
You know, in many ways, this is funnier.
Shaun, it's been a long time. It's been up to and including a whole year. I'm not going to say any numbers, but since we last spoke, now, is it New Year, New Me, or are you going to do a classic Marvel shit character here on Hero or Zero, Shaun?
Look, okay, you say Marvel shit character. This is the show where we take one comic book character every single week. Could be good, could be bad. I pick Marvel, you pick DC. Yeah. And we give everyone a bit of a rundown to do with that character.
And we pretend to have some sort of rivalry, whereas all comic books are nice. But no, Marvel are shit.
It's grand that they all exist. And we'll leave it there. Now, Connor, there's a common trend on this show. Now, it hasn't shown up in the last couple of months because of other news and things like that. But there's a certain question that you ask me on the regular about a certain team of comic book superheroes.
Okay, let me just try to think. Jared Leto news?
Not Jared Leto, that's a DC man through and through.
Is this Detective Divilment, I could ask?
It is. It is not. You have one final guess before all of your family are executed.
Oh no. Okay, Shaun, I was just wondering, really quickly, what exactly are the Eternals?
Oh, a very good question, Connor, and one that I aim to answer in this report.
Yes, because the joke has become that every time the Eternals pops up at any news source, I ask that question, and you have to go through such a long diatribe to try and fucking explain.
Diatribe?
That's a good stuff, isn't it? It's a New Year, New Me, Shaun.
That fucking word of the day calendar, Connor. Day one, diatribe.
Day one, I'm not going to keep to it, I don't think. Day 6, still diatribe. I'm kind of forgetting them. But I always ask, what are the Eternals? And you have to just go on a big ramble to try and explain it to our simple minds. So, Shaun, I'm interested to hear, what exactly are the Eternals? And can you break it down to us, the idiots?
I will do my level best. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a few Hero or Zeros covering different characters from the Eternals, because I think that's the best way to get an overview of them. So today we're starting with the leader of the Eternals, Ikaris.
Ikaris. Do we know who he's played by in the movie?
Played by Richard Madden in the upcoming February 2021 film,
King
The
of
Eternals.
The North. Indeed.
King of the North.
Can't get much more north in space. That's true.
Well, that'll come into things, actually. So Ikaris is a member of the Eternals, a near-immortal evolutionary offshoot of humanity created by the Celestials.
Oh, we should also just really quickly say that Marvel are doing an Eternals movie. This was the reason why I always ask you. So that is, they're going to add these into the MCU.
Exactly. And the more you hear about this, the more you will be surprised that they are including this in the MCU.
You'll be like trying to figure out how they're going to tackle it.
Yeah. So Ikaris was born over 20,000 years ago under a different name which has not yet been revealed.
Oh.
Yeah, it'll come into things. So
Richard Madden.
Richard Madden, the Eternal. Ikaris' family belonged to a community of Eternals who dwelt in the city of Polaria, calling themselves Polar Eternals, while most of the other Eternals lived in the city of Olympia. Okay.
Right,
very interesting so far.
So far, I bet you there's cities, there's people, there's gods. I'm all in.
That's it. So
sounds a bit like a diatribe so far.
The continents of Atlantis and Lemuria were sunk in the year 18,500 BC by in an event known as the Great Cataclysm. So what the Great Cataclysm actually was, it was the second host of the Celestials. Now I'm going to explain what hosts are, very briefly.
I'm struggling to understand most of the words you're saying right now, so please.
That's fair enough. You only have one word in that calendar now.
I do. I have to flip days really quickly to learn English.
So the Celestials basically like to fuck around with the inhabitants of planets. They do it with humans, they've done it with the Skrulls, they've done it with the Kree. And they're done in phases called hosts. So the first host is when they pick, okay, 99% of the population are going to just evolve as regular humans. Then 0.5% we're going to make deviants, which are like evil monsters like Thanos and things like that. And then the other 0.5% are going to be superpowered godlike beings like the Celestials.
Oh, so they are kind of the creators of superheroes.
In a lot of ways, yeah. Now, look, there are other ways to make superheroes, but in terms of the oldest kind of idea of superheroes, that's what the Eternals are. It's the Celestials chose a certain branch of humanity to get fabulous powers.
Wow, okay.
So, when these two continents were sunk, when the Celestials came back, because what they do is they come back every so often to test and see what way humankind and society has evolved with these two, the two kind of powered races and then regular humans. So when
and see if the balance is there.
Exactly, and see what happens, basically. So when these continents were sunk, Ikaris helped to guide an ark of refugees led by a fellow Eternal to safety. The humans aboard the vessel mistook Ikaris for a bird, and the tale became part of common human folklore, like many of the Eternals' encounters with humanity.
Right, so wait, he's not shaped like a man, he is shaped like a bird.
No, he's a man, but he can fly and stuff.
Alright, so he's a man, but they walked in and just started going, caw. So, like, they were a bit on the dumb side, really.
Look, he was flying in front of the sun, and if you see something flying, you're generally going to think bird, I think.
No, my first thought was spaceship. Second, bird.
Now, if you look at that story, Connor, it's 18,500 BC, around the time of Noah and the Ark,
Did they not have Twitter back then?
They didn't. They had no followers. Like,
I am out of touch. Yeah, there was different type of followers back then.
That's it. Now, during when the Celestials returned to Earth to do this second host event, they disciplined one of their number by releasing its cosmic energies from within its armour. So the inanimate Celestial that was then buried deep beneath the Earth and became what is known as the Dreaming Celestial. The weapon used to disperse, the weapon used to release these cosmic energies was entombed along with this Dreaming Celestial beneath what's called the Pyramid of the Four Winds.
Right, that's a lot of stuff.
It's a lot to take in. It's Marvel cosmic bullshit at its finest.
Marvel cosmic bullshit, yes.
But the only thing you need to know is that Ikaris's father and his uncle as well designed a security feature that Ikaris would always know if someone went into that facility, and Ikaris then would be the only Eternal eventually to know what was inside that pyramid.
Okay, and the pyramid is on Earth.
The pyramid is on Earth. It's in the the Arctic Circle, so it's far away from most of humanity.
When you said that's like the dream god or whatever, like is Ikaris looking for his armor more so than him himself?
No, so it's the Dreaming Celestial. Like he's a Celestial that's like in stasis kind of a thing, but it's just raw cosmic energy. So the amount of damage that could do if it was released.
Yeah, okay.
And look, I'm sure none of this will ever come up again.
This will be the plot of the movie The Eternals, though.
Most likely, yes.
Yeah, there's like a baby monitor in the room, and it goes like, fuck, someone's got into the pyramid.
There's a big blue beam in the sky.
What the fuck is that?
So in the centuries that followed this, Ikaris would become a constant opponent of the Deviants, who, as I said, were a misshapen race who were also creation of the Celestials. So although Ikaris was quick to oppose deviance himself, other Eternals judged him as being brash and headstrong. Now, his closest friends among his people were the speedster Eternal, called Makari, the hedonistic Circe, and Thena, who was the daughter of their leader Zuras. So these are all characters confirmed to be in the movie. So that's why I left this bit in, because I think this is quite an interesting part of Ikaris' story.
And also, like, it does sound very out there, and it sounds very weird when you're listening to it, but if they just present it as like it's a family or it's like a group of friends, like it worked in the movie Hercules, the animated movie, so you just present a very similar scenario.
With that. Yeah. So in the time of ancient Greece, actually, mentioning Hercules, Ikaris fell in love with a human woman he met in Crete while battling deviants, and she gave birth to a son named Ikaris. Now, bear in mind, Connor,
that is going to be confusing.
No. Cause, modern day Ikaris, remember, we don't know his actual name.
Did you know, by the way, this is just a random fact, but George Foreman, the boxer, I think has 5 sons and they're all called George Foreman.
Really?
Yeah.
So wait, there could be a George Foreman the 4th then?
Yes. George Foreman 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know if it's 5 or 4, but I'm pretty sure they're all called George.
Yeah, but it's more than one, like.
Yeah, like, to the point where it's confusing. George, it's dinner time. No, not you. Not you. It's fucking his.
Yeah, but surely dinner time in the George Foreman household is a very easy and fat-free affair.
It's lean and mean.
So the younger Ikaris, who didn't share his father's eternal heritage, so he didn't have any powers, enjoyed being carried by his father when he flew. So the elder Ikaris had 2 of his friends construct a flight harness that would enable the son to fly on his own. However, the elder Ikaris was drawn into more battles with the deviants and was away from his son for years.
Oh, Lord.
The younger Ikaris resolved to find his father using the flight harness, but he soared too high into the atmosphere and fainted from lack of oxygen. The sun's rays burned out the harness's controls, and he fell from the sky into the ocean.
I was waiting for that. When you were like, he passed, I was like, wait the sun burns it.
The elder Ikaris buried his son and took the name Ikaris as his own from then on, so that some memory of his son would endure for centuries.
Okay, that makes way more sense.
So that's where the name Ikaris comes from. And again, that's the myth of Ikaris flying too close to the sun.
So what they're doing now is like, the idea is that these Eternals have always been here just behind the scenes, and so all of these myths that we've always heard growing up, they were always involved in some way.
Exactly. That they're a constant, and people have just interpreted them as godlike heroes, kind of.
Okay.
Thing. So, as the Eternals prepared for the coming of the 4th hosts, which is in the point where the Celestials would return and determine the fate of the Earth, to determine whether their experiment had been successful, basically.
I can tell them some spoilers. 2020, no. Fucking end it.
Should have come 1 year earlier, lads. So Zuras, the leader of the Eternals, assigned Ikaris to hone his senses so that he could anticipate the arrival of the Celestials. At the time when they arrived, Ikaris had adopted the human guise of Ikaris.
Harris? What? Did he just look at Mike and was like, take the fucking M off, nail that?
Have that sorted there. And he posed as a guide to an archaeologist named Dr. Daniel Damien and his daughter Margot Damien.
Is him and Margot going to fall in love?
Well, give me like a paragraph and a half.
Okay.
So Ikaris led the Damians to the city of the space gods, which is an outpost in the Andes Mountains, where the 3rd host had been based. So when they were doing further experiments, they had set up a little outpost in the Andes Mountains.
Yeah, just stop over there for a little bit. Cup of tea, a bit of a sleep, get on your way again.
Exactly. Now, the Deviants show up, these monsters, and they attempted to prevent the arrival of the fourth host. But Ikaris awakened his friend, who had been in suspended animation, and got them to open communications with the fourth host, leading their ship into Earth's orbit. So, what's really fucked about the Celestials is that, like, they will destroy a planet on a whim, basically. The Eternals, as creations of the Celestials, want to defend humanity, but they also serve the Celestials. Like, they cannot harm a Celestial.
So is it kind of like the Silver Surfer with Galactus?
Yeah, in a lot of ways it is, that they're just like, they have their own will and what they want to do, but they are servants, basically.
Okay.
So Dr. Damien remained with Ajax in the Andes, the friend he awakened. Ikaris then introduced Margot to the world of the Eternals, and they became lovers.
Oh yeah, I was shocked to hear that, but now that you mention it, makes perfect sense.
Makes perfect sense. Ikaris joined the Eternals in revealing their existence to the public of Earth in order to quell their fearfulness of the Celestials. So Earth is freaking out because there's an alien invasion going on.
Makes sense.
And Ikaris and the other Eternals decide, look, let's just tell him it'll be fine. We're here to protect you. That's what we're doing. We've been here all the time.
Calm down. It's okay. And then just behind them is just like the place is on fire. Everything, there's nothing to see here. Everyone back away.
That's it. But it is, as it goes on, it is looking more and more likely that the Celestials are just going to wipe the slate clean.
So, like, get rid of all of humanity.
Get rid of everyone, yeah.
Yeah, so that's an interesting concept where the Celestials have created Earth and everything to do with it. And they have the Eternals here, but the Eternals want to keep us there. But the Celestials at any given moment could be like, no, the experiments failed. Just get rid of them.
That's it. And so Zuras, the leader at this point, forms what's called, okay, and here you go. Here's the bit I need you to be on board for, Connor.
I'm already not on board, but go on.
He forms a uni-mind to determine how to proceed with the fourth host, okay?
Okay. So he's gone to college in his mind.
Yeah, he's eating beans on toast.
His diet is terrible, but he's learning so much.
And he's having fun. So basically, Eternals can combine all of their psychic energy into one kind of being. If I may, Connor, it's like a Megazord.
Like a Megazord? Well, I mean, are you just trying to speak down to me? And he's like, he likes Power Rangers.
It's like when you get two Lego blocks and put them together, buddy.
Oh, wow, now I understand.
So, basically what they learned through doing that, all of their mental capacity was combined. And then all of the Eternals on Earth merged into a uni-mind to try and defeat the Celestials through psychic energy.
So now they've turned on them.
They've turned on them. They've rebelled against their masters at this point.
Because they're like, we're going to protect Earth no matter what. You cannot destroy it.
Exactly. However, the Celestials easily defeated the Uni-Mind and killed Zuras.
Went very well. Then, look, there's a whole series of fights and humanity proving themselves worthy. In the end, the Celestials judged in Earth's favours and departed in peace, erasing humanity's memory of them, the Deviants, and the Eternals. Oh, okay. But are the Eternals, they're still around though?
They're still around. They're still acting as protectors of humanity.
Right, but the Celestials have kind of left us alone.
Exactly. Now, look, they do come back in a never-before-seen fifth host at some point, but, that's just comics trying to one-up themselves.
We're basically being led by middle management. So, like, the CEOs are like, alright, we'll leave it. Fuck it, be grand. The middle management lads are like, we'll look after it while you're gone.
Yeah, exactly. We'll keep the place running, we'll keep the lights on. But then, they like that ragtag group of office workers that they work with.
They just, they are middle management, but they have a bit of crack about them. They want to look after us.
That's it. Look, guys, I don't like authority either, I want to have fun at work.
They're David Brent. I'm cool, just like you guys.
Sitting backwards on a chair.
That's interesting, but also my main question is, but would they not defend Earth then about like aliens or something coming to Earth? So like if the Skrulls came to Earth, would they not want to defend it, or would they sit back and allow the Avengers to do that?
Look, they do interact a lot and they cross over. Because superheroes are so kind of prevalent, they can kind of just present as, oh, here's a guy with super strength, you know.
Yeah.
In terms of like their enemies, they're generally fighting deviants, so the likes of Thanos and things like that.
They didn't do a very good job, I'll be honest with you.
Not at all, but he had all those sparkly rocks.
We couldn't beat him. We even did a Unimind, and he still fucked us up.
But that's really interesting, is that maybe like Thanos using the gems is what brought the Eternals to Earth this time. Just like, we heard a deviant got super powerful, like completely unstopped by anyone. Maybe we should look into that.
Yeah, no, that would be a cool way to bring them in, because we have been like thinking about, like, Guardians of the Galaxy was a wild one to go for, of all the comic books to do, but it was kind of like out there in terms of if it fucked up, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
And I think the Eternals might have something similar, where if it doesn't go well, or people don't latch onto it, they could just be like, okay, well, that's a weird space thing that we did. But if you're going to bring them in, you kind of have to link them to other people. So, yeah, Thanos is the most powerful person in the universe. He wipes out half the universe, including half of Earth. They're going to surely be aware of that and be like, why did nobody stop him? Because I'd say they were probably still like, oh no, they'll stop him. They'll stop him. It'll be alright. And then eventually he gets too powerful and they're like, okay, now we have to step in because
it's
Earth
time
has gone
for
to
us
shit.
to do our job at this point.
Middle
Middle management.
The 4 years afterwards, though.
No, not at all. Well, look, maybe they were all unluckily on that one half of the snap that got rid of him.
Yeah, how unlucky are we? Shit.
So in terms of Ikaris's powers and abilities then, he has immortality, so he can't die through old age, and he's resistant to diseases and toxins.
That's pretty good. What about like just a good old kick to the knee?
A kick to the knee might do. It certainly put him out of commission for a while.
For a little bit, will he go, what about, could you stab him to death? Like, could you, if you pulled out a gun and shot him, would he die?
Not really. He has regeneration, so he can regenerate any injured or missing tissue.
Yeah, so then he's completely immortal. If he has regeneration and also he can't age.
Yeah, so the only way he can die through injury is if an injury disperses some of his molecules in his body. Like if it actually somehow destroys matter.
Nuclear bomb style.
Nuclear bomb style, yeah. He has superhuman stamina and durability as well. He can fly by mentally manipulating, you're going to love this word, gravitons.
Okay. Look, that's just a fancy way of saying he can fly. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah. He has psychic abilities as well. He can, the likes of scanning minds that are less powerful than his own. He can manipulate cosmic energy, so the Captain Marvel style energy beams from the hands. Yeah,
you gotta love a good energy beam from a hand. That's gonna really look good on screen.
Teleportation he has. Ooh. And enhanced senses, which he actually did through training. So he's he just trained himself to be able to like hear and smell and taste and everything way better than anyone else.
He reminds me of Martian Manhunter a little bit.
Very similar, actually, now that you mention it.
Because Martian Manhunter is one of the most powerful beings in all of DC, but like he would have all of those characteristics. Now, Martian Manhunter has a weakness that is fire. Does Ikaris have any weaknesses? Surely fire is one of them. He hates the sun.
Hates the sun. Actually, he's quite durable. He's been submerged in lava for hours before, and he's been fine.
All right.
I think you're going to see his weakness once I go through the 1 to 7 rating system here, Connor.
I'm assuming 7's across the board other than 1 then.
You'd be surprised now. It's durability of 7, energy projection of 6, fighting skills of 6, speed of 7, strength of 5, and intelligence of 2.
It's all starting to make a little more sense.
So he's kind of a dumbass.
So he's a bit of a tickle, but like,
well, look, he's about as smart as a regular human.
Yeah, a bit of a tickle, but he's like so powerful that it just overcomes everything.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a comparable character to him, but it is just like he's very Homelander from The Boys in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah, so like he's so good that like nobody ever challenges him.
Exactly, so he doesn't need to be clever a lot of the time.
And that is an interesting, but then you also have the interesting plotline they could go into, whereas he's outsmarted, and like suddenly he has to actually rely on using a brain or using somebody else.
That when it's in terms of like him surviving on his own, which you could play into in the movie, that he has to rescue the other Eternals or something like that. But it also lends very well to having, as you said earlier, like a family dynamic kind of thing, where he's not smart, but someone else is really smart but weaker than him, that they all make up for each other's shortcomings as a team.
Well, and like one is a party dude and one of them's good with machines.
Yeah, one's Leonardo leads Donatello's machines. Mike Raphael is cool but rude. Michelangelo's a party dude. Exactly.
Yeah, I picked two of them. So in regards to the other Eternals, are they like, they're, I'm sure, very, very powerful as it is as well. Like, could one of them beat the whole of the Avengers?
It will probably be similar to Captain Marvel fighting all of the Avengers.
Okay.
Look, in the real world, probably one of them could destroy any of the Avengers. But because it's movies and comic books, they'll write away that the heroes triumph and all this by working together.
Yeah. And also, the Avengers do have Thor. So he's kind of the like, obviously everyone else, like Hawkeye, he's disintegrated immediately, but Thor is kind of the main guy that they're going to rely on.
Yeah, and look, in the comics, I cut it out earlier, but there is a thing that Asgard have like a treaty that they won't work with Eternals because they're like other gods, and there's a whole big backstory about a war there. But Thor is just like they're in a battle, and it's either fight with the Eternals or die. So Thor is like, I'm going to use your help because I'm not an idiot.
Yeah, because Thor is always viewed as like the Asgardian who's kind of different to
with the most humanity.
Leaders.
Yeah.
No, I think the Eternals, I mean, as a concept, I think it can be a lot to get bogged down at the start. Like, when you started this report, I was kind of like, oh Lord, there's a lot of stuff going on. But as you actually get into it, if you just break it down, it's very similar to probably 10 superhero stories we've heard before. It's just told in a different way. It's going to be very interesting to see how they portray that on screen to allow everyone to be involved in it, or else let it be digestible for everyone.
Yeah, and look, I don't know how far they're going to go into it, whether they're going to do modern day Eternal stuff or if it's just an origin story. But the computer also thinks it shouldn't be an origin story.
The computer thinks it's a fucking shit idea. MCU needs to back away.
Fucking give me the Snyderverse again.
Restore the Snyderverse.
Oh, we'll get into that on Monday. But I think it's a wild idea, and if it works, because this is as mental as Inhumans is as a pitch, and Inhumans didn't work. So if they can do it right this time, I'd be very interested.
Yeah, but as we always come back to, if Guardians of the Galaxy can work, then anything can work. If Guardians of the Galaxy can make a fucking nearly $1 billion, then fucking throw everything at the wall, because that comic book is so niche, and that worked. So it's just about who's the director, what's the writing like, and can people connect to the characters. It doesn't matter who's on screen. If they're likeable, or people hate somebody, even better. Like, if they hate the villain, great stuff. And if they like some of the heroes,
yeah, then it'll be a success, and you just need to trust your writer and director on that one.
Yeah, so is that the end of the report, Sean?
That is the end of the report, Connor.
That is the first of the Eternals, Mr. Ikaris. So he's the leader, Richard Madden.
Exactly, he would be the prime Eternal. at the minute in comics.
Okay. So we just wanted to wish everybody a massive and I hope you had a lovely holidays, or we hope you do anyway. Not me specifically, but we hope you had a lovely holidays and a great new year. And hopefully 2021 is an amazing year for everyone. Can't be any worse. So. Also wanted to say that thank you to everyone over on Patreon who has supported us throughout 2020. You're all absolute legends. It's obviously been a tough year for everyone, so seeing the support over there grow has been nothing short of extraordinary for the two of us.
Absolutely.
And the link is down below if you want to go into that, but also, could anyone, if you're listening to this, could you just give us a like and subscribe on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on? So, no matter what it is, it's probably going to have a love heart or just an uptick or a 5 stars. It helps out in the algorithm. I don't know why, but somehow computers think that is better. So, yeah, if you could do that, that would be very much appreciated. All of our social media is down below if you want to give us a follow on any of that. We have a Facebook group, Detective Divilment's discussion group, that is over there. If you want to join that, just send in a member request, or the Facebook link for the group is down below. It's connected to that. And most importantly, Shaun, what do they have to do?
Just watch The Inhumans?
No.
That terrible show? Oh, sorry.
We've been doing this for 2.5 years. Okay.
You have to tell one human being that we exist, sorry. Or
Thank
one
you.
deviant, or one celestial, or one eternal. I'm trying to tie it into the
If you can find an eternal, grab him and just fucking tell him.
And then when he decides to destroy the Earth, tell him we're sorry.
Yeah, the Celestials are like, nah, fuck this. What are you talking about? Fucking every single week we talk one comic book character. Nah.
Nah, fam, nah.
Diatribe. Fucking blow him up.
I think that's about it, Connor.
I think so. So I have been Ciara Lawler.
I've been Shaun, man.
And we'll see you next week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.